Hey, what's up guys? Mike, Red Fox. In this video, we're going to do a quick build of a 6x3070 rig. Alright, let's get started. So I have the skeleton of the rig completed already. I'll walk you through that, and then I'll show you the cards that I'm using. We'll get them installed, get them hashing, and we'll look at some of the power readings that we're getting out of them. So let me show you the bones of what I have set up here. I'm going to be using two RTX power supplies. They're both 1000 watt, solely for the fact that I'm out of server power supplies. I need to pick up some more, but that's okay. I'll show you how I'm going to make these two work for me on this rig. You can see I have all my risers set up for the rig. And this is the motherboard I'm using. It's my favorite board. It's the ASRock H110 Pro BTC motherboard. It's built specifically for mining. You can see all those PCIe slots down there. And I'll show you how I have it set up. So something that I learned along the way is how these are numbered so they can show up properly in the software. So your full slot is always number 1. And we're doing just the black connectors here. Your full slot's always number 1, and then you jump up, and this will be number 2, and then you jump back down, and this will be 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the white just follows straight up from one down to from the first one down to the last one. And that's how they're numbered. So when I put these GPUs in, hopefully that helps me identify what's what. It helps with the overclocks because I'm using different GPUs, so the power limits are different, the overclocks might be different. It's just kind of a pain, especially in Windows, which is what I'll be using for now. I got a Intel Celeron, probably G3930 or 3900 in there. I have HyperX 4 gigs of Kingston RAM, and then I'm using a Kingston SSD. I got all the parts I usually use linked in the description down below. So one of the power supplies, this one here, is going to be the one that is powering the motherboard. So I have all of that connected. And now the other power supply, in order to get it to power on, when I hit the switch, because it has a failsafe, if it's not plugged into the motherboard, it won't power on. I have it plugged into this tester that EVGA gives you, which essentially just connects those two pins, you can see, and allows the power supply to turn on even if it's not connected to a motherboard. I'm going to have 4 GPUs, 1, 2, 3, 4, all running off of the same power supply that the motherboard and CPU and everything's running off of. The TDP on these cards is 220 watts. Even if it ran full max TDP, 4 of them on this, with this, it would still be under the 1000. And obviously we're going to undervolt and power limit them anyway, so they won't be even running close to this 1000 watt. And then I'm going to put two other GPUs on the other power supply, which this power supply's job is just to run those 2 GPUs, which is overkill for this 1000 watt, but it's just temporary. It's what I have down here. Okay, and other things I got going on. So I use splitters. All the risers are powered off PCIe because that's the absolute safest way to do this. And you can power 2 risers, no problem, off of a single PCIe strand. So these orange and black cables that you see here, those are splitters. So you can see I'm splitting the VGA cable coming from the power supply, and that's going to 2 risers. I think that's pretty much everything. I mean, I'm using a standard 6x Veta frame, which is actually my last frame. Man, you cannot buy these right now. If you buy these right now, you are paying like $200, and I paid $30 for this one and all the rest that I have. So I might have to go back to some wire baker's racks like when I started, because I'm not paying those prices. There's absolutely no way. Okay, GPUs. So I got 2 Founders Editions 3070s. I got 2 EVGA XC Ultra 3070s, and then I got 2 Gigabyte, I think these are gaming OC. I actually can't remember. Does it tell me? Yeah, gaming OC 3070s. So I'm going to do the EVGA here because they're the prettiest and I want to look at them. Gigabytes here, and then I'm going to do the Founders Editions on the end, running by themselves off of this 1000 watt. So I think that's everything. If you have questions about any of this setup here, leave a comment in the description. Leave a comment down below, and I will answer it for you. But I think we're good. I think it's time to start putting in the GPUs here. So I'm going to put you down, and I'm going to start connecting all of those. All right, here we go. So we're going to start with the Founders Edition 3070s. Get those slotted up here. I have links to the risers and stuff I use. I mean, they're nothing special. They're like everything else. Really expensive right now. Ooh, that's tight. Okay. I definitely did not anticipate building a 3070 rig at any time. I just wanted more 3060 Ti's, but you can't get them. And I saw some rumors that 3070s won't be affected as much. You know, they'll be more available essentially, unlike the 3060 Ti's and 3080s. So you know, you got to do what you got to do. Here's the weird looking. I don't know if you can see that. Here's that weird looking cable that NVIDIA uses for their 12 pin here. Just goes 12 pin to 8 pin. And yeah, the manufacturers for the power supplies sell the cable that goes right from the power supply to 12 pin, but I don't know, I still don't understand that little cable there. It's just a design decision by NVIDIA. Alright, first one is in, powered, riser. It's moving on. So yeah, 3070s are the way to go. I think I've mentioned this before on my channel, but I just got to get what you can right now. And you can't get 3060 Ti's, even though they're the better buy. Some of these 3070 models will actually beat the 3060 Ti in efficiency, but not by much. I mean, almost like an amount that doesn't even matter. But why the 3060 Ti's are a better buy is because the price is cheaper. You know, $100 cheaper or more in some cases. The other thing I'll mention about these Veta frames, if you have some, these are longer cards, but when you have shorter cards, the way this frame tells you to build it by default is that this support bar that runs down here is actually closer to this side. And so when you have shorter cards, maybe you have, I don't know, 1660s, even the 3060s look pretty tiny. The bar is too far, so the GPUs can't rest on it. So you can just flip it around. That's what I generally do, and I did for this one because it works for everything, not just, you know, the shorter cards. The riser can now rest on here. So I don't know. Really, if you're building these, just do it that way. That seems to be the best way to go about it. That should have been the default in the instructions. All right, so the two Founders are in. So now we're moving on to the Gigabyte gaming OCs, which if you haven't seen, they have an 8-pin and a 6-pin power connector. Yeah, and the TDP on these cards, like I was saying, is at 220 watts. Though we'll probably get them down to, I don't know, 130. I've seen some people get them down to like 120. I think I even saw somebody say they got theirs down to 115. And my 3060 Ti's are a little, I can get some of them down pretty far. So just depending on the make, what exact one you have, it's definitely possible. If you guys have these cards, let me know what the best result you got on yours is. What's going on with this? Put it in. Alright, got first Gigabyte hooked up, power and riser. Let's get the second one in here. See, I'm running this off of two ATX power supplies, which if you're building your first rigs, I really don't recommend doing that. I know it seems familiar, especially if you're into building PCs, but you are going to spend so much more money than if you got a server power supply. I have a video on that, and traditionally what I've done is ran them in tandem. So I'll have, you know, an ATX power supply, maybe run one card connected to the board, and then the board and all its components, and then the server power supply will do the heavy lifting, running everything else. And what seems to be working out well for some miners out there is now using the server power supply for everything, which you could do in the past, but I don't think it was as elegant of a setup as it is now. So I may try that. I think I want to. I'm going to do some shopping on Parallel Miner. That's where I get all my server power supplies. I'll leave a link. I think I have a link in the description. But yeah, don't be intimidated by server PSUs. They are super easy and super awesome. And the only thing to be mindful of is if you start running them close to their max capacity. So if you got one that's rated for 900 watts on 110, you start running that close to that 900 watts, that thing's going to start screaming. Which is why I usually like to run them in tandem with the ATX power supply, so I can shift some of the load over to whatever ATX power supply I'm using. So this is kind of ugly, but what I have to do on this one, if you can see, I ran out of, I'm also running low on ATX power supply, so I ran out of VGA cables that split to dual 6x2 pin, 6 plus 2 pin. So I need to use a splitter off of a single one here, which is not what I want to do, but we gotta make it work so we can get these things moving. If you're curious about the splitters I'm using, I got links to that stuff. These are what I've been using for about 3 years, and I've never had an issue with a single one. And I believe as of making this video, they just restocked them because they sold out. Obviously, because everybody's building rigs right now. Okay. Last GPU in. No, I didn't take the plastic off. The fans. No, I didn't take the plastic off. The logo right there. It won't affect your hash rate, don't worry. Okay. I hope it's looking pretty. It looks good from this angle. Alright, I think I got everything. Here, let me grab you and we'll take a look. Alright, let's check it out. So, there it is from the front view. So we got the 2 Founders Editions hooked up here. 2 gigabytes hooked up here, and the 2 EVGAs hooked up on the end. And man, that's I mean, listen, it's a pretty looking rig. My preference would be to have all the same card, and I probably would want all these EVGAs all the way across, but don't have that luxury right now with the GPU supply. So just got to get what you can, and I feel fortunate enough to have at least 2 matching cards of each one, so I'm good with that. Let's just get everything connected here, and we'll fire it up and just make sure everything turns on and is working. So plug these 2 power supplies into my power meter. I have links in the description too if you want to build one of these, to the YouTuber that I learned from. Oh, everything just auto-powered on. I don't think I want that, so shut that off, because I need to get, so if you're running 2 like this, you can get adapters. I actually have one, I just gotta find it, where when you power on one, the other will power on automatically. In this case, what I'm gonna do is power on the first GPU, which you can see you got the 2 Founders Edition cards running. We got riser lights on those two. The fans are spinning on those, so we're ready to turn on the rest. So, boom. Alright, EVGA cards on. Spinning, spinning. Okay, riser lights. They're all lit up. Windows is booting up. Power meter. 200 watts keeps going as we're booting. Alright guys, well it's the next day because my camera battery died, but it's alright. I got some time to dial in this rig and I want to show you what I landed on. So here I'm running TRX miner, and you can see I got the PCIe slots right on that ASRock motherboard. So the first two GPUs are the Founders Editions, followed by the 2 gigabytes, followed by the 2 EVGA cards. And you can see the hash rate that I'm running right now on each card. Almost all of them I got to 63 mega hash or over 62 mega hash. You see the temps of the cards are running pretty good. That's what 80% fan speed right now. And then the wattage. Oop, there we go, the wattage. So look at those EVGA cards. I was able to get that one down to 117 watts and keep it at 63 mega hash. That card won the Silicon Lottery. I'm stoked on that. And then TRX is really cool. It gives you the efficiency ratings based on those numbers, and that is going to be your mega hash divided by your wattage. And those EVGA cards just are tremendous. Look at how much they crush those gigabytes on efficiency. I mean, this efficiency altogether is fantastic, but I'm so stoked on those EVGA cards. Good job, guys. Wow, crushing it over there. So one of the things with doing this in Windows that's kind of a pain in the butt versus Linux, like Hive OS or something, is, and this is why it's kind of annoying when you have multiple different models and makes of cards in a rig, is your power limit is going to be different for each card. So you can see the first two I have here. These are both the Founders Edition cards set to 57% power limit, but then the EVGA's got to be at 48% power limit. I'm sorry, the gigabytes, and then the EVGA's got to be at 49. I have one, and I think the other I have at 50. So I got them really dialed in. They're running at a 1400 memory clock. I did run that overnight with no invalid or incorrect shares. Core clock's all the way down, and again that fan speed is locked at 80. Now for the overall rig wattage, this rig right now, this is what it's pulling at the wall. So that's all the GPUs and all its components. So let's just say around 820 watts, and it's doing a total of, we'll say, 376 mega hash. So let's figure out this rig's total efficiency, and we're going to open up calculator here, and we're going to enter in that 376 mega hash, and we're going to divide that by the 820 watts the whole rig is pulling, and that's going to give this 6 GPU RTX 3070 rig almost a 0.46, but a 0.45 efficiency, which is tremendous. Absolutely awesome. I love this rig. I'm super happy with it. Love the way it came out. Performance numbers are just crazy. These EVGA cards are absolutely amazing. Amazing cards in comparison to the rest of these. These are definitely number one in performance and efficiency, followed by the Founders Editions, and then followed up last by the Gigabyte cards. Overall though, all great cards. Get what you can right now, but man, if you had a choice, you should get those ones. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. That's my quick build of the RTX 3070, 6 of those cards in there. We measured the performance I'm getting out of them, and we look at where I have them dialed into and the hash rates that we're getting. So if you liked the video, hit the like button if this is helpful to you. Subscribe for more content on GPU mining. And as always, please take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you guys in the next video.